Welcome back to Raceweek Illustrated Garage Talk. We go back now trackside to Mobile International Speedway in Irvington, Alabama, where SB Nation's Matt Weaver is standing by to talk to us about the ARCA Mobile 200. Matt, for the second year in a row, a native Alabaman comes home with the victory. What do you think overall about this event?
I thought the race was a lot of fun to watch. This track has always produced really close, really exciting racing. I think the fans would have liked to have seen 2 or 3 more guys get up there and fight for the lead, but if you had to pick 2 guys that you really wanted to see fight, it's 2 guys that are used to running this track. Super late model veterans and Kyle Benjamin and Grant Enfinger, and Grant has a lot more experience on this track, and it showed in the last 20-30 laps of the race.
Now, last year Grant led the most laps and he came up short at the end. This year it looked like he just wanted to make up for that loss last year and come home with the win.
Yeah, this is a big deal to him. Not only winning at Mobile, but winning in the ARCA Racing Series altogether. He said for years that he could win all the pro late model races, all the super late model races, but it's not going to mean a great deal until he can win on a bigger stage. He's run a few truck series races, ran the full ARCA schedule 2 years ago. He's returning to the ARCA schedule this year, running the complete campaign. And I think it's important for him to get that big win and go ahead and get it out of the way early on, because this could really be a make it or break it year for him to move away from being a late model ARCA guy into moving into truck series nationwide and hopefully, in his eyes, the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series.
Now, Kyle Benjamin had a very impressive debut. He comes home second. He led several laps during the race. Tell me your impression of his first ARCA start.
Well, I've always been really impressed with Kyle Benjamin. I think this is a guy who gets what it means to drive a stock car. This is a good deal for him to come and debut at Mobile. It's a track he has a lot of laps on. I'm not really sure it's indicative of what we can expect when he goes down to other tracks, whether it's Salem or even Iowa, a track he's never been to. But he adapts to a new track better than a lot of guys I've ever seen running these ARCA cars. He's only 15 years old. He's got a few years to develop in this series, and I really think that once he turns 17, 18, we'll be talking about Kyle Benjamin as one of the future stars in the NASCAR Nationwide and Cup Series.
And another late model jockey has a good run. Anderson Bowen comes home in third.
Yeah, Anderson Bowen is just a guy who's steady. He's consistent. He's a guy that has a few question marks as far as bringing the car home, and he did that today. The car actually looks really, really clean. He didn't spend a lot of time beating and banging. He did what the crew asked him to all weekend. He was told just do the best you can with what you've got, and that's definitely what Bowen did today.
Second year for the ARCA Series to be in Mobile, another big crowd, another beautiful day of racing. Tell me, how do you feel about this match between ARCA and Mobile?
I think the match between the ARCA Racing Series and Mobile has really benefited both sides. The ARCA Racing Series has tried really hard to endure itself to the southeast crowd, and Mobile was the perfect track for it. It was important that they get guys like Cale Gale last year, Grant Enfinger this year, Bubba Pollard, guys who have run this track, guys that they'll recognize. That's a big deal to get these guys out here. And so to have Grant win this year, to have Cale win last year, it's a real big selling point, and I think that this race is sustainable, not only on the star power, guys that are familiar, but just the racing that this track produces. It has no walls, there's a lot of room, it's really fast, one of the quicker half miles, and I think it's a track and a race that can succeed long term.
Now, you set off a little bit of a firestorm race morning by posting a photo of the track showing that there are no retaining walls in the turns or on the backstretch. People were asking, why does it not have any walls? Do you think we'll ever see retaining walls at Mobile?
I really don't think we're going to see walls at Mobile, and it has nothing to do with ARCA or any other sanctioning tour that comes in here. The local drivers are really opposed to it. They like having the runoff space, and they're more scared of the walls than they are of running off the hill. They think that the wall means more work for them if they get involved in an accident. And we saw several times today in the ARCA race where guys come off turn 3 and 4 and they run back on the front stretch and there's very little damage. And so for that reason alone, I think that we'll see this place remain wallless in the next few years.
How big of a deal is it to have a big race like this kick off Mobile's 2013 season?
Well, it's always a great deal of excitement around this race because it's not only just because it's the ARCA Racing Series, but a lot of these guys race here every single week too. You see a lot of the late model contingents come out here and run this race. They ran the Bombers and the Sportsmen the night prior. It drew a huge crowd. It draws a great deal of attention to this track. It's always one of the more popular tracks in the Southeast, but it's real important to get the year started off right with something exciting, and the ARCA race certainly provided that today.
Now, a couple of us on Race Morning picked Grant Enfinger to win. You went in another direction. You picked Kyle Benjamin.
Yeah, I picked Kyle Benjamin. I thought that his experience would really pay off there at the end, but you guys who picked Grant Enfinger made me look really silly today. But I thought there, with about 20 to go, Kyle was going to get him. And first, let me just talk about the great duel they had, running side by side, switching for the lead back and forth. Just a great race, and I don't think we can really be disappointed regardless of whether Kyle or Grant won it.
A professional can never look too silly. Matt Weaver from SB Nation, thank you so much, Matt.
Thanks, guys.
On to some asphalt late model action now, where the Pass Super Series opened their 2013 season at Dillon Motor Speedway in Dillon, South Carolina on Saturday. Austin Thoreau led less than 100 feet as he edged out Preston Peltier in a photo finish to score the victory in the South Carolina Clash 150. The two made contact coming to the checkered flag after moving around lap traffic. The official margin of victory was .120 of a second, and that makes it the closest finish in Pass South Series history. Peltier holds on for second, Kevin Powell third, Brandon Lynn fourth, Clay Rogers rounded out the top five. That's going to do it for us this week here on Raceweek Illustrated Garage Talk. Next week, we'll have a look at more racing action from around the region, including the Ultimate Super Late Models from Lavonia. Remember, for the latest racing news, you can visit us online at RaceweekIllustrated.com. You can follow us on Facebook or on Twitter, and you can contact us via email. It's GarageTalk@RaceweekIllustrated.com. Until next week, I'm Brandon Reed. This is Raceweek Illustrated Garage Talk. We'll see you at the races.
Let's go racing Saturday, March 30th, when the Pro Late Models invade the famed half-mile oval in Jefferson, Georgia for the Larry Fleeman Memorial. And kids, you do not want to miss the helicopter egg drop on the front stretch with candy, prizes, and more. All divisions will be racing. And that's the Larry Fleeman Memorial, Gresham Motorsports Park in Jefferson, Georgia. Be there.